But I think that the court only intervened because of that movement. I think that, and
pressure
Kevin believes that too. If there wasn't that pressure, then he would have been executed. And it's that pressure that we need to continue and build up today. But that to put someone through that and to get them so close to being executed.
It was actually within an hour.
He had about a few hours.
A couple of hours.
A couple of hours. And, to do that to a person and just the lead up, how they dehumanize people, how they, they would check his arms for the veins, to find the veins that they would use to kill him. They, want you to pick a last meal and to participate in what he calls the ritual of death. And
they did this. I can't help but flash on the case of Stanley Tookie Williams, and talk a little bit about that. The injection that forced California to take a second look at lethal injection as a so-called humane. How can you call killing somebody humane? I just anyway.
It could never be humane, but certainly the way they do it isn't, and I don't think it's designed to be humane at all. I think it's designed to torture you, but then paralyze you so that the witnesses don't know that you're being tortured. And they did torture Stan, and they did botch the execution, and because of the movement that had made his case so prominent, and because he did have witnesses there that did see him writhing in pain and see it continue on and on and on, who were able to come out and bear witness to what had happened.
Exactly.
That is what has resulted today in no one being able to get a death sentence. Although that's a dangerous thing too, because while we have sort of a moratorium on executions here, because until they figure out the lethal injection procedure,
it may only be temporary.
Exactly. And that means when they restart, there will be many death row prisoners who have since run out of appeals, and they could all be in danger, which is why we really want to build up the movement and the pressure now and not wait until they reinstate it, and then you have 12, 20, I don't know how many it could be, people lined up waiting for execution.
Now, nationwide, Crystal, how many people approximately are on death rows now across the nation?
I'm not really too sure. I want to say
I've heard over 300. I mean 3,000. What am I talking about?
I've heard 3,500, but that's an old figure, so I'm not sure
that sounds about right.
That's still accurate. Yeah. California is certainly the biggest.
Well, the only reason California is the biggest is because they haven't been carrying out the executions the way Texas has.
That's true.
Texas is unbelievable. There have been, 200 executions in how many years recently? I heard that just very recently because there's a big movement on the governor, Perry. Yeah.
Right.
Who is as much of an executioner as Bush was.
I think he just surpassed Bush's record, which was awfully high himself.
Very high. Yeah, and in fact, in Texas, they've killed as many as 3 in a week.
Right.
Amazing. And the overwhelming majority of people on death rows are people of color, mostly black.
Right.
And how many rich people are on death row?
I haven't heard of one yet. But if anyone knows of one, they should call us and tell us.
Okay, yeah, well, they always get away with murder, don't they?
Nobody had a dream team.
Right, and we don't have any police murderers on death row, I doubt. And one just blatantly murdered, Meserly just blatantly with cameras rolling, point blank murdered Oscar Grant on New Year's Day. And now they're moving they're claiming he might not get a fair trial in Oakland. Oh, please.
So now they can guarantee he won't get a fair trial somewhere else. That's what they're really trying to do. Yeah, because if he were to get a fair trial, he'd be convicted. Right.
Oh, it's just insane, this whole death penalty. And I can't help it, but I shouldn't perhaps bring this in, but this blatant rape that happened just recently of the 15-year-old, I can't help but state, as horrible and horrific as that incident was, the rape of a 15-year-old by 6 young men with some 20 people watching, the state has decided that the solution to such a phenomenon, such a horrific phenomenon, is to treat these youngsters as juveniles and lock them up and convict them and give them life or the death in prison.
Right. Try them as adults.
Well, I say that we are responsible for our young people, for our children. We have to take responsibility for incidents like these because of what we are doing to our children.
Right.
And I can't go any further because we're out of time. And your last words, Crystal.
Well, just to say, we can't talk about everything, but there is an event coming up on December 13th, the 4th anniversary of Stanley Tookie Williams' execution at Merritt College, talking about these cases, Kevin Cooper, Troy Davis, and Mumia Abu-Jamal, from 3 to 6 p.m., December 13th. That's a Sunday, and I really hope people can come so we can continue this discussion. And
thank you so much,
Crystal. Thank you so much.